Hi guys, welcome to our podcast. My name is Max and I'm with
Ian.
and today we're going to talk about poetry. We're going to talk about a piece of literature related to poetry. We're going to talk about basically what poetry means to us and what it can mean to you based on what it means to us. And then also what the role of a witness is in poetry. So I guess we'll kind of start it off by kind of introducing who we are as poets. So this past semester we took a spoken word poetry course. And we've really learned a lot, right, Ian?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we learned a lot about ourselves. We learned a lot about spoken word poetry. Again, as we mentioned before, what it means to us. And I think it could be really helpful for other people to kind of follow along and practice spoken word poetry as well. It was honestly very therapeutic for me. How did it feel for you doing it?
I felt that I gained a lot, and it gave me a lot of different views on poetry. It's not just about spoken word, but also how the message is being delivered, and also how the audience takes it and how they interact with it, and what kind of emotions it can instill in people, and also like the message that it can leave because of the fact that you felt that emotion to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for inputting that. So at the end of the day, let's look at the age-old question. What is poetry? So really, based on that, what is poetry? Answer might not be quite as simple as it seems. You know what I mean, Ian?
Definitely. I think poetry is interpreted very differently by people, because poetry to some people is just like a rhythmic sort of rhyme, or something that has to rhyme and sound, give like a little small lesson, while also not being a lot of words, but more of like clues and images that you want to leave in people. But that's not true. I think poetry is very different. There's many types of poetry, which makes it be able to be delivered in many different types of ways. And we got to see that during this course in terms of views, videos that we got to see.
Oh, absolutely.
Articles, actual poems.
Yeah, these all definitely changed my view as well. I mean, just watching everyone in class, because we did have a lot of people presenting in our class, and we got like a lot of different perspectives, so we kind of got to see different styles put together, and it kind of taught me a lot about poetry in general, but it also especially taught me about spoken word poetry. And in my eyes, spoken word poetry, absolutely true poetry, true genuine poetry, and it really, with spoken word poetry, it kind of adds to what poetry already is. So as a lot of people might say, it's like putting poetry into your body. It's expressing poetry verbally. It's, and as you said before with that long description of poetry, it doesn't have to rhyme. It doesn't really have to rhyme. There's no set fit rules like that. And I think we really saw that with a lot of different students. Some students did rhyme. A lot of students also didn't rhyme. So,
right.
But it did kind of have like a little underlying theme, right?
For sure. I think it's more about how it boosts our storytelling.
Yeah.
How we speak, the kind of changes, the way that words make us feel and how we understand, and the way the audience and the reader interact.
There was a deep meaning behind the words. That was definitely helpful. And yeah, if you want to add anything about like why spoken word is true poetry, I kind of went over that a little bit, but anything you want to kind of add to that?
I think you covered it up.
Yeah, I mean, spoken word is really, really about kind of putting it into your body, and it's true. It's poetry in its truest form, in my opinion, for real, yeah. Like when you're looking at words on a paper, that could be coming from anyone, but when you're hearing those words and you're hearing it from the person who wrote it, I think it makes it even that much more powerful, because you know how it's being expressed, not just what's being expressed, but how specifically it's being expressed from that person's mouth. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
It's about reading it from the audience and the person that's reading it, so you can kind of see their life and kind of see how their words are impacted while they're reading this. It's kind of like it leaves a story based on each word that they read, So it's like you get to really see it while you're up there,
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, so something else that really stuck out to us in the class was the different works that we got to read, kind of different like different people's commentary on poetry, on spoken word poetry. So there was one that did kind of resonate with the both of us. We kind of both agreed that this one piece kind of spoke to us the most about what it really means to be a spoken word poet.
On the oral nature of
And,
poetry.
yeah, and that is Etheridge
Right.
Knight on the oral nature of poetry. And we're kind of gonna briefly kind of go over what we thought of it, what we kind of took from it, and what we think you guys can take from it. So,
You know what I liked? I liked how
Yeah.
the author added that he stated that the environment helps to shape how people breathe and how people, affect how they can help them communicate and vocalize things by how we breathe, and it was just very deep, just taking that breath, it would clarify and just have clarity because of that breath, and just to calm you down before you go up and just to help you visualize. It's all about the breath, being able to be in tune and really express yourself honestly and truthfully and not be anywhere else, but rather in the moment.
yeah, I think those breathing patterns that you hear, like I remember hearing that from others in class. I remember even realizing the way I was breathing during my poetries in class. Just the way I breathe kind of adds to it, and it kind of adds that extra dimension to spoken word. It kind of shows, like, when you just hear you get the mood, you get what's happening, and the way you're breathing when you're speaking. Like if you're talking faster, your breathing pattern's gonna be a little bit different, and it kind of adds to what you're already saying. Got that?
Got that.
And then something that really stuck out for me, I know the breathing thing kind of stuck out for you, but stuck out for me in Etheridge Knight on the oral nature of poetry, was really how I could kind of relate it to like different literature that I see in every day. So things like music, comedy, even like bedtime stories growing up. I feel like it was just like, being able to relate through that, and, keep the fact that those different elements kind of keep it alive. Like if it was just written down, a certain like comedy skit, you always hear the comedy sketch, or you hear the song. If it's just written down, it's gonna last, but it's not gonna have as much of an impact. Think about how much of an impact it has putting on a set of earbuds and just listening to a song compared to looking at the lyrics of a song. There's a big difference, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it more desirable for someone to, hear the message rather than just look at the message. And I think that really came across in the emphasis of keeping poetry alive throughout Knight's piece. Do you agree?
I do agree. That was perfectly said.
Yeah.
So, what is the role of a witness in poetry?
Thank you for asking that. So, for me, a witness is someone who's in the audience, and the witness is watching you perform your piece.
Not really just watching, but like more like they're in
They're
it with you.
taking
You
it
know?
in, yeah.
They're taking that in. They're like in the moment. It's kind of like acting, but it's not acting. Like, the acting is when you start to speak and you start to express your words. You start to go up there and, you vocalize or you view what the words say, and then you try to make a feeling for that, and you try to like express that in how you do it, and the viewers and the people that you're around, how you're interacting with them, they take that as a certain way of acting, and how they act and how they interpret that acting is their opinion on you, their opinion on what you feel, their story, what they think about you, what they think about themselves. It's so much that's going on, but it's all these feelings coming to the surface because of the fact that you're saying what you're saying and you're connecting with these members in a different way. You're being honest with your emotions, you're displaying yourself,
Exactly. You really hit it on. Just connecting with the audience and connecting with the person that you're listening to. And there are kind of two standpoints. You could either come in knowing exactly what the person's like, or you could come in knowing nothing about the person, and just really being able to learn about that person just by the way they speak, and then, stepping into their shoes or figuratively stepping into their homes, just by hearing what they're saying. Like, literally, through spoken word poetry, you can smell the scented candles in their house. You can taste the freshly cooking soup. You get that. It comes across and it does something magical to your senses. And that's really the power of the witness, and when you're speaking, makes it that much more powerful.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that?
No, I just think it's like
Okay.
another beam of light in the room, like you
Yeah.
said. You know, it's like a connection that you guys both have, and it's like a conversation that's not really between you two. It's more of like one person speaking and the other person hears, but it's for everybody in the room to kind of know that it's for them to be the right.
Yeah, it's for them. It's not just for us, although it is also for us.
Mhm.
To
Mainly
make that
for
very
us.
clear, when you're writing about you,
It's mainly for
make
us,
it
but
for
people can connect.
Make it for you, and don't be afraid to share what you want to share.
Mhm.
Share it. Don't be afraid. I thank you guys so much for listening. I hope we've convinced you to get involved in spoken word.
Give it a shot. I know a lot of people that aren't the biggest fans of poetry, but they have given it a shot. You know, they've given it different types of ideas, and they've gotten more information and more knowledge about it, and they see it differently now. So maybe that could be you too.
And just when you think you don't know when you don't think you like poetry, listen to a song, listen to a rap, even listen to a comedy routine. I'm sure you'll find poetry in there. So might change your view, considering that's considered spoken word. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
I've been Ian.
I'm Max. Have a good one.
See